What's going on, traders? In this video we're going to be looking at gold XAUUSD. Right now gold is inside a monthly demand zone. It's actually reacting off of it already, but I'm not just going to be placing a buy order. I'm going to be looking at some of the COT data, which I will show you guys later, and we'll see how the banks are positioned in gold. And I can tell you right now they're majority long on gold, so that's a pretty bullish bias there. But I'm not just going to place a buy order. I'm also going to be showing you exactly what I'm going to be looking for on the smaller time frames in order to, place a long buy position in gold. Alright, so this is a weekly chart of gold, and as you can see, I have this weekly supply zone drawn on my charts. And why do I have that supply zone? Well, very simple. It removed a demand zone down below that was a very strong demand zone. So what I wrote down here was that this supply zone being removed would be the best evidence that this monthly demand zone will hold and that price will actually be headed much higher from here. So I'm already seeing a little bit of evidence on the lower time frames like the daily, which I'll show you next, that price is headed up to that weekly zone. And it's all a matter of, if this weekly demand or if this weekly supply zone holds and we start seeing a move down, then I'm not really interested in going long at that point, because that is my intermediate time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, and that would be the best evidence I need to really make a strong conservative decision to go long. This is the COT data for gold. The last week, we just got the data on Monday. They still remain 81% long to 19% short. And I mean, you can pretty much think for yourself, where's this headed? It's most likely headed to the upside. That's my guess based on that fact alone. And, the last week they did remove some longs, 9,374 longs to be exact, but they also got rid of 2,006 shorts. So the fact that they're removing both kind of tells me that they're just kind of holding price in the same direction, right? Because if you remove longs, you're essentially you're selling, right? And if you remove shorts, you're essentially covering, which is buying back. So if they're doing both, even though they did about 4 times as much longs than shorts, it's still a sign that they're just kind of holding up price. So hopefully in the next week's report we'll really get that bullish sentiment again. And as you can see, the week before they actually added 11,000 longs. So it's pretty significant in my opinion that they're still adding that many longs. But the last week they did basically get rid of all of them minus like 3,000, right? So, but overall they're still very bullish. Like they're 80% here, or they're 79, then they went up to 81, 80, 80, holding it at 81% constantly, right? So, this is another basically just confluence that price will return higher and possibly break all-time highs. And we use these COT data to kind of give us that extra edge. Obviously everything on the chart is basically more important, but this gives us that little extra edge and gives us that little extra confidence that price will be headed to the upside. Because if you look down here, they're like 90% at some point, so they even could be adding, right? And as you can see up here, I have the max that they had. It's at 92% long was their max. So they still have room to add, which would be based on the current conditions in the economy and the inflation that is basically inevitable at this point due to the central banks printing a ton of money. I would not be surprised to see gold go to all-time highs very soon. So that's why I'm very much interested in going long at this monthly demand when it shows me the right time on the chart to do so, which I'm going to show you on my entry time frame, which is the daily chart. Now we are looking at the daily time frame, which is my entry time frame, and we are already seeing signs that we are pushing up and headed to possibly break this weekly demand, this supply zone, because of this nice push up here. This blue circle, the reason I have this drawn out not as a supply zone was because this was the demand zone right here that was holding up price, and as you can see, price broke this demand zone before this zone was created. So that's why this is a supply zone. Also, this zone here is a zone because of this demand zone was broken. But this supply zone is very strong because it was responsible for moving this demand zone and this demand zone. But this supply area right here, I would just call this selling. Obviously, there's a nice strong move away down below. So that is why I highlighted it. It's not super significant of a zone, but it is, it is selling. It is a supply imbalance, so that's why I have it drawn out. So that's the evidence that I'm seeing on my smallest time frame that we are in fact headed up to this weekly supply zone. And as you can see, there's I said it earlier, there's a very nice daily supply zone right here within this weekly supply. These lines right here, these dotted lines, this represents that weekly supply zone that I had drawn out earlier, like this right here. So I basically just took this daily chart, switch it over to the weekly, and drew the weekly zone so I have a better idea. So, if we see something like this where price pushes through, maybe it reacts. I definitely think we'll see a reaction off of this supply zone. Maybe we'll get something like this, and this zone will break. Hopefully, this supply zone will fully break, and then we'll have a nice demand setup right there for a nice, a nice long trade right there. Something like that. That is basically what I'm looking for. Exactly. It doesn't look like we're gonna get a trend line break, because right here I do not see any trend line that's clean. So this is going to have to basically be a pure supply breaking trade. So if I'm making sense, let me know. Leave a comment down below if this made sense to you. If you have any questions, let me know. And basically, to summarize again, gold isn't sitting inside monthly demand. I want to see evidence that buyers are stepping up, which will be the weekly supply zone being removed, and also which at the same time this daily supply zone will be removed. Hopefully price breaks up, breaks to the supply zone on the weekly, comes down, gives us a very nice daily demand zone to go long, and then hopefully we will see a nice, very nice return on that, and hopefully we will be going to all-time highs on gold. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it made sense. If it didn't, let me know. If it did, let me know as well. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Don't be afraid to ask. I love talking trading. I talk about it anytime. So, all right, guys. Cheers.